here with Rob Seitz, and we're talking about green in general terms and related to real estate specifically, and some of the concepts involved in this trend of green, such as recycle, reduce, and reinvent, the 3 R's that you were talking about. And what runs through all of this for me is the importance of creativity, resourcefulness, rethinking things as part of this reinvention, and then also relying on other people's opinions and seeking out other ideas from others. So networking is very important. And you as a consultant offer that to many of your clients. And also it's obvious from our discussion that you're impacted by the thoughts of many other people, including being in several different industries.
I mean, you said something before which reminds me of a conference that I put together the other day. And I brought in an environmentalist and a trend spotter, you might say, in terms of green careers. Now, by green careers, we're not talking forest rangers or environmental scientists. We're talking about accountants and computer people and chefs and marketing people. In other words, there's a green component to all these things if you go back to my earlier observation about redefining the bottom line.
Right, right.
And he gave an interesting statistic and showed a chart, and I believe it was the United States Environmental Protection Agency. And they had come up with a list of skills that they wanted, and it might have just been the United States government in general, of skills, that most important skills that they saw in terms of a green economy and in terms of the next generation of workers. And he didn't have them on the board in any particular order. And he asked the group what they thought was the most important one. Now, one person immediately chimed in and he thought it was the first one because it was the first on the list. Without patting myself on the back, I didn't comment. But the one that I zeroed in on, which was about 4 or 5 down the list, was creativity and creative thinking and listening. And sure enough, that was the #1 skill.
Is that right?
That
I could see
they felt was important. How creative can you be? And sometimes, as a consultant, that can be very challenging, not to me, because if I have any skill, I am a very creative person, and I always have lots of ideas. My very first boss said to me, I'd never known anybody who had more good ideas and more bad ideas.
Talking about bad ideas are very helpful. It was Tom Watson Jr., the founder of IBM, who had said, the surest way to success is to double your failure rate. And it's true. If you don't try things, if you don't have bad ideas, you can't have as many good ideas. So
I think he also said that he anticipated that the world might need 30 computers or something like that.
That's right.
I've got about 5 in my house.
So how credible is he? Right? That's right.
But I think it's that being able to be creative. And as we go through hard times, whether it's on a personal level or on a business level, it goes back to my 3 R's again, recycling and reducing and reinventing.
Right.
And just the reducing
the reducing gives you a lot more time and often money, so you could reinvent. You could spend more time reinventing.
Just think about reducing the number of times you use your credit card.
That's right, right.
And when you have to go to the gas pump, as hard as it is to actually pay cash to fill your gas tank and spend $40 or $50 in cash. But it's so nice then when that credit card statement comes at the end of the month, and it's that much slower.
Right.
And I'm on this whole drive right now. I'm down to 2 credit cards that I use, and I'm using one more than the other because it's linked to my bank account. And so every time I go in to my ATM, and sometimes I go in kind of looking like this.
Right.
But if I make a deposit of a check, I can decide, all right, I'm going to take a portion of that check that I just deposited and move it over to a credit card payment.
Right.
And it's a good feeling to be
Yeah.
reducing debt that way.
Right. And the awareness of the importance of reducing.
Yeah.
Less of a carbon imprint. You
Less
know,
of a
just
carbon-
let
The carbon
less of a
imprint thing is a very interesting concept because there's legislation out there, and in fact there are legislation that has been passed, which I think is wrong, where you kind of sell your carbon credits. So I might say, okay, well, I'm not going to use them, but I'll allow you to use them, Frank, and allow you to be a bigger pollutant.
Yes, right.
I
Right.
think that's crazy.
Right.
I don't think we achieve anything by that.
Yeah. I tend to agree with you about that.